It's the big story this weekend. The Electoral Commission of South Africa hoping for a high turnout as it holds the final voter registration drive ahead of this year's elections. The Commission says so far 27 million people have been recorded. That's the highest number since the dawn of democracy. Of course, we're watching the story from a number of vantage points. Our reporters are strategically placed to cover different angles for you at this hour. Let's begin in Gauteng because the province is the most populated in the country and has the largest voting bloc. Already more than 6.2 million voters have registered there. But many people in Johannesburg are facing challenges to register. Let's get a better sense of how things are unfolding in Denver. That's where we find Newzroom Afrika's Nqobile Madlala, who joins us now live. And Denver, of course, Nqobile, is where the victims of the Marshalltown tragedy have been relocated. What are some of the challenges they're facing when it comes to participating in this important democratic process?
Very difficult for many of them. Ayanda, you will remember that they've had to build up from the ground once again after that fire gutted almost everything really what they had. Some of them also don't have jobs. They are also faced with crime in and around the area. So there's quite a lot that makes them actually want to vote. But I want to bring in now the young people that are from that Denver area, which we understand have been affected by that fire. Mama, yini yenza ukuthi nifuna ukuvota?
Into yenza ukuthi sifuna ukuvota singabona kunomehluko mangase kuthiwa sivotela thina mathupha njengeyouth. Umehluko noma singeke size sivote sonke sivotela umuntu oyedwa kodwa umuntu lo engizomvotela ngicabanga ukuthi sibaningi singamvotela esenzele umehluko. Sidinga umuntu ozosenzela ushintsho empilweni eziyouth. Sidinga umuntu ozoseseka njengeyouth noma sihluleka kodwa ozoseseka. That's why sibona ukuthi ukuvota kubalekile ngoba sidinga umehluko. Sidinga ushintsho empilweni zethu siyintsha.
And izinto ezibalekile kunina njengoba umama eseshilo ukuthi nidinga ukusekelwa yini okunye nikudingayo?
Into esidinga igovernment isenzele yona ukuthi sithole amathuba omsebenzi and isikhona nokuthi sithole ama-ID esikhona nokuthi sivote. Ngoba manje asikhona ukwenza nix. Asina ID, ama-ID ethu asha, asizakali. Bayasipromisa kodwa ayikho into asipromisayo yona ayenzeki. Isiphatha kabuhlungu lento abayenzayo.
Sicela usondele njengomuntu othe uxakekile njenge-ID usangakwazi ukukhuluma nathi sicela usondele. Kuningi usisachazayo njengamanje ukuthi ama-ID ayezinye zeyinkinga enibhekene nazo njengamanje. Mangabe uhamba wena uyofuna i-ID bathini kwena?
Angazi ngi-apply i-ID. Ngi-apply ekuqaleni kwathiwa ngishile ngisuka ngikhona ukuthi ngiyenze bona manje kodwa sekuyaphela. So angiphindanga ngayenza since ngayeka lapha mhlawumbe ngeke mhlawumbe ngizoyenza mhlawumbe ehamba lesikhathi.
Manje uzovota?
Mawuthi kumele ngivote ngizovota kodwa phakathi ID anginayo. Angina ID kodwa kumele ngivote ngizovota kodwa nje ID anginayo. Engakusho lokho nje kuphela. Anginayo ID. If makuthi mhlawumbe kumele ngisizakala ukuthi ngithole ID ngakwenza ke lokho. Angina ID mina manje.
So just briefly, Ayanda, they're explaining that at the moment, some of the major issue that they're affected by is the fact that most of them don't have the identity document for him. One of the issue that has stopped him from being able to get that ID is that he got burnt in terms of his fingerprints. So his hands were burnt. He says that they couldn't read his fingerprints, and as a result, he doesn't have that identity document. However, it is priority for him to vote, as well as the other ladies. They're just explaining that one of the things that they want to be looked at quite closely is the fact that they need jobs, and as the young people, they do need these jobs so that they're able to give that plate, to put that plate on the table for their families. But I want to bring in now Gewusa to speak to us about these issues. I mean, a major issue, the young people have no jobs, but also they're stuck in an area where they basically don't have enough that's being done for them, as they say. What is it exactly that they currently faced with the challenges that you have seen?
I mean, correctly have characterized the problem, right? They are part of an over 10 million army of the unemployed in this country. They are faced with the crisis of poverty. They are faced with the crisis of housing. I mean, the crisis of housing, of course, in their case, is exacerbated by the burning of Newzroom building that it displaced many, and the fact that government just has no program to address both the crisis of emergency accommodation, but also finding a sustainable solution to the crisis of housing in the city of Johannesburg and in the country. Just in the city of Johannesburg alone, there is a backlog of 500,000 housing units that are in shortage. And this, it just means that at the rate at which the city is building homes, I mean, they build about 2,500 houses a year. And to put that into context, it means it will take them 200 years just to be able to clear the existing, housing, backlog. And in a country, or rather in a city, where the housing, or rather the population is growing by between 130 to 150,000, which means 1.5 million every decade, it means there is simply no perspective, no program, even in the wildest ambitions of the mayor who want to double the rate at which they want to build housing to about 5,000. It means they have no solution. So the crisis of housing, which is not only limited to the city of Johannesburg, is a countrywide problem. 13% of the population in this country is in informal settlement. The housing backlog is sitting at 3.7 million. We need a change, and a drastic change in this country. And that means for us, this government has got to go. But also we're not convinced that any of the political establishment has a program, and that's the reason that I think we need the working class in power one way or the other.
Thank you very much. So there, saying that the solution, of course, is for change, so that these problems that are currently imminent in and around the city, but as well as in the country at large, can be addressed by a different kind of leadership.
All right. Nqobile Madlala is live to us there from Benrose in Johannesburg.